Hello and welcome to another episode of Jaxon Talks Everybody with me, your host, Aaron Mashbitz, aka Jaxon Stone. Not sure which one we're going by, but people who listen or watch this know that I go by both. And today I'm joined by someone I just met as he walked into my house like 10 minutes ago. So I think this episode is going to be amazing, as it's basically like a get to know each other episode.
Yeah. So
kind of like we're sitting down to have coffee, which is the organic vibe that I like to have on this podcast. So, Logan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, this is our first date.
This is our first date.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Great to thank you for having me in your home.
Absolutely,
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this couch is very special. It's the podcasting couch.
Yeah, dude, you gotta have a special couch. I feel like, if you have a podcast.
Absolutely. I think about this a lot, like in terms of, because we were just talking about before we started rolling, like upgrading some stuff.
Yeah. As
people will find out, you're a filmmaker, and we'll get into all those details. But kind of talking about upgrading my camera situation.
Yeah.
And then I was also thinking about like a studio setup. Like that would be cool, right?
Yeah,
because I like those podcasts where when you're talking, it's on your face. When I'm talking, it's on my face.
Yeah.
And then they zoom out when we're kind of both there.
Yeah.
I can't really do this with this setup unless I had like a camera in that corner and in that corner.
Yeah.
And it would people were manning them. But I kind of like this feel, this like normal feel of like you just came over, we're maybe watching some TV, maybe we'll have a cup of coffee, drink if you drink, and have a chat.
Dude, yeah. And I think like that's a good point. Like you want that feel of like the bigger production,
mm-hmm.
right? But it's like just it goes to like this setup just says something about like just do it. Like mm-hmm. just go for it. Like don't worry about like what gear you have or what your living room looks like. Like just go for it.
Just do it.
Yeah. Just freaking do it.
If you feel like you have something to share or say, just share and just say it.
Yeah. And I feel like a major shoe company probably like should use that, like just do it. So.
Just bought some shoes from them yesterday.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, new shoes. That's a great feeling.
It is so good. You might run through that water pretty quick.
I know. I'm such a drinker. Like, man. So before I used to like not drink water. Like I was like one of those guys that like I would go to a restaurant and just like not drink water.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I just had a thing about like I loved sweet tea. Like that was my vice, dude. Like I would drink sweet tea like people like I don't know, smoke cigarettes. Like dude, honestly. And so just in like the last year, I did. Have you heard of 75 hard?
Mm-hmm.
So I did 75 hard, and doing 75 hard, like you have to drink a gallon of water like every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally went from like sweet tea and beer and like all that other like just bad stuff to like I'm drinking a gallon of water a day, and now that's all I drink is like water. But I feel like I'm just so thirsty all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like. I can just drink so much. So that goes to say like, yeah, this water will be gone, but it's okay. Well, it just means I'm hydrated.
We can get you some more.
No, it's all good.
But you said a lot of interesting things there that I want to circle back to.
Yeah, let's do it.
But I want to kick this episode off with my main question.
Okay.
With the theme of this podcast, the question I'm most interested in answering or having other people answer as honestly as they want to.
Okay.
So hopefully you feel like you have enough space to. We met, a few minutes ago, so that I think we'll play a role in it.
We did have a conversation on Instagram, so yes. I feel like there was a little bit of a preface, but
we've been following each other for a while. We met through social media.
Yeah.
The good side of social media, the positive side, what it can do and how it can introduce people. But the question is very simple. It's how are you doing? Like really, for real, how are you doing?
Man. Okay, so I knew you were going to ask me that.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you were building up to that, I was like, man, I totally got this. But then you just asked me that. And it was like instantly, like it hit me like, I really appreciate you asking that. Like I feel like more times that needs to be asked. So thank you for asking that, because I am doing good. Like, I know that's probably an answer you might get. I don't know. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not terribly familiar with your show.
It's all good.
So I don't know what that answer usually is, but I'm sure you get, like, how do people usually answer?
Well,
like, I know you said we can be as open as we want.
Yeah.
But, like, what is that?
It usually starts with your basic generic answers that you normally get.
Okay.
Because this question is asked a lot in times of like a hello.
Yeah.
Hello,
yeah.
how are you?
As a greeting.
I'm good. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Living the dream. Surviving.
Living the
Happy
dream.
to be alive. Oh, these types of things.
Another day in paradise.
Some of these things that people mean honestly, some are kind of to mask something that's going on that they don't feel like they can answer in passing, and they probably shouldn't answer in passing. Because that's not an intimate conversation.
Definitely.
But if we do have time to answer, then I think we should. But most people answer with those, and then they see me still like looking at them, like kind of encouraging them to do more. And most people I have on like know me a little bit.
Yeah.
And know like what I do and the things I'm trying to accomplish and the things I stand for. And so then they start to kind of like think about it a little bit more, and then more stuff's to kinds of flow, and then they circle back to their initial answer, but like I'm good, but like those things are going on, and then we kind of get to a point where you feel like multiple things can be true and coexist at one time.
Yeah, dude, totally. So, man, I love that. Okay, so I am good. I just recently had an appendectomy.
Oh.
So I had my appendix removed, which is like major surgery. It didn't burst. So I'm good, but if we're talking in terms of like percentages, and please stop me if I over explain anything.
No way.
Because I have a tendency, I can elaborate until the end of time. So my appendix didn't burst, luckily. So I got it removed. But with that said, like I'm still, I think I'm technically still in like the recovery phase of like post surgery. So it's like I'm good, but I did just have major surgery like 2 weeks ago or something, and which it was my first surgery, so there's a lot of things to like unpack with your first surgery. A lot of things I was like dealing with mentally, like preparing for the surgery, which I didn't have a ton of time to prepare for. So there's that whole thing. But I am good. I feel like I'm probably, I feel comfortable saying that I'm probably one of the most patient, and like just like low key people you will ever meet. So if that answers the question, I'm good.
Has it taken you a while to be able to say that you're patient and low key? Because some people have an issue talking about their strengths.
Yeah. No, not at all. It's kind of a trait that I inherited, like from my dad. Just being very like mild-mannered, and just extremely patient. I would say it kind of stems from like a lack of like a lack of emotional understanding within my own emotional like state, but then also just like a recognition for like the need for patience, like at all times with people, with the environment, with like just with everything. So no, I'm fully comfortable saying that, and it is something I have kind of like understood for a long time, like about myself. So
has the grasping the first side of it that you talked about, the emotional state, has that become better since you realized your patience in general, but more patience with understanding that stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I feel like, are you familiar with like Impostor Syndrome? So I kind of like deal with that. Like I feel like just humans have that.
Absolutely.
Just
especially when you're going after something that is big and important and purposeful and meaningful.
Yeah. So for me, it's like I have to analyze like when I think back of like my childhood or my like being in high school or whatever, and it's like, was I actually like just emotionally inept and like incapable of like deep emotional understanding, or was that just normal for like being 16 or 15 or whatever? So I don't know the answer, and I'm sure if I like went to therapy I could probably unpack the answer. But I would say like now knowing how patient I am allows me to kind of just do like that inward, like looking inward, either, during a situation or after a situation, which usually like, that's how it happens, is like when you're like thinking about something after it happened and you're like, oh, okay, well maybe I could have done this different, or maybe I should have, whatever. So to answer your question, yes, it has gotten easier. But I would say I feel like just the like part of the human struggle is like emotional, right? Like just like understanding your personal emotions before you can really understand the emotions of other people. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Long answer, man. I'm sorry. I'm writing a novel.
No way. That was awesome. No, it's like understanding ourselves and how we feel, what we want, what we're good at, what we're bad at, what we need to improve on, some inadequacies that we have, also coming to terms with our own dark side and things that we might be capable of doing, and not looking at people only as the bad, but if we can see ourselves capable of that, then we can more see the light, right, in them as well, and then understanding that we want to feel these emotions, even if they're difficult or hard or challenging, because that's the only way you can then deal with them. And so, I mean, that's the secret unlock to, right, having a good relationship with yourself, and then that precedes having good relationships with others. But it's very challenging, right? It's a never-ending process, because all things are changing and growing and evolving, especially our emotional state and the state of the world, which happens to deeply affect our emotional state. Absolutely.
One of my favorite things, like just as far as like consumption, like if I'm consuming like other art, or like just watching a TV show or a movie, or even writing my own projects, like one of my favorite things to explore is just like catharsis and like the process of feeling emotion. And of course, like I'm not sitting here like saying I'm the only filmmaker that will ever explore catharsis. Like I guarantee you talk to 1,000 filmmakers, they will all tell you that like their favorite thing is like the process of feeling emotion.
Right.
Like that's it. But I would say personally for me, like it's just, I'm so fascinated in that. And I don't know if it stems from like my lack of, understanding of my own emotions, like we just talked about, or if it's just like, I'm just so intrigued because that's just what being human is like feeling. And so, like just one of my favorite things is just like feeling, or not personally, but like as a viewer or as a creator, like just feeling like so like heavily and like deeply. And that can be on any part of the spectrum, right? Like extreme like euphoria, or extreme like despair and darkness, which I feel like I do tend to lean towards that side.
The darkness side?
Yeah, just as like as a personal interest, and just kind of like I feel like I'm more attracted to art expressed through pain than I am through art expressed through pleasure. And that's kind of broad, but we can talk about that if you want.
Sure.
But yeah, that's just kind of and something else you just said is like realizing the good versus the bad, not only within yourself but within like just the environment that surrounds you. I had an interesting conversation the other day, and it just one of the things was like one of the points that was brought up was just like people like being good versus bad. And I think, and if somebody talks to me tomorrow, I might change what I'm about to say because
Sure.
I don't know. We're just talking here.
That's all it is, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that there's just like good or bad people. Mm-hmm. Like I think there's just people. Mm-hmm. And like people do good things sometimes and they do bad things sometimes, and then everything in between. And so I think like when you're processing your own emotional state and you know, translating that into like action, you know, sometimes you'll do bad things, sometimes you'll do good things.
Right.
But you're just a person.
Yeah.
So
I think those that think in terms of good and bad have taken have gained an unearned moral virtue. They've claimed moral virtue over people that's been unearned.
Oh man, that's, yeah.
Because to be a compassionate, kind person and a good, quote unquote, good person, you have to put in a lot of work and effort.
Yeah.
And to claim that you are better or more compassionate or not bad at all is a unearned moral victory.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of get into an issue with a lot of things, right? Because if you can't come to terms with your own darkness, like when you see bad things happening, like really bad things, and you say, oh, I would never, ever, ever do that, ever. Yeah. Well, then you're not willing to put yourself in that situation to make that decision, which is the hardest part. Yeah. Like if you lived in Nazi Germany, you would never, ever, ever be the guard, right? Ever. Yeah. Of course, I'm a Jewish person. Of course, I would not do that. But I've never been put in a horrible, awful, life-altering situation like that to claim that thing. Yeah. So I would hope that would be something that I could wrestle with and make the right choice, even if it meant something, my life, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that moral virtue is gained through effort and through working with people and actually showing up as the person that you claim that you are. Yeah. And then also coming to terms with some darkness that you have, because we all are capable of doing really bad things. Yeah. As we see human beings are evil to each other. Absolutely. But on the same regard, we also can lift each other up and carry each other, be resilient, love one another, and all those beautiful things that come with it as well. Yeah. Dude, that's so good. Yeah. I love that. Like, especially like the philosophical, like hypothetical of like, well, what would you do in this situation? Like, we don't know. Like, we don't know. Right. It's not happening. Like, we're not forced to react right now. Like, it's not happening. So that's good. I like that. I like that a lot. I've been thinking about that a lot because I post a lot of content on social media and through this podcast and stuff, and majority of the stuff is like uplifting, positive about mental health, trying to gain more personal responsibility and take ownership of your life, and you know, you're capable and all of these things. And I think about, have I like earned the right to be able to say that? Am I living that in my own life? And I don't know if I have an answer for that. Yeah. But that's at least in my mind, so at least I'm striving to, you know, flourish through my virtues and not just claim some sort of, because you can post anything on social. Yeah. Anything you want. You don't have to have earned anything or not. Right. But if you want people then to meet you in real life and see what they saw here and then have the same connection with you, then it's like, okay, now you're getting somewhere. Yeah. And that's like a big deal for me. Like, if you had watched a couple episodes and then saw a tweet and then you saw me and I was not nice and rude and you'd be like, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. Right? Maybe I'm having a bad day. One, okay, you'll give me another chance, right? Because you're that kind of person. But if it kept showing up, then it would be like, something's disconnected here, and that is what I think about, like, all of the time. Yeah. It's like, people have so many opportunities to like not be themselves, right? Like our world is just like created for
not being yourself. Like you're totally allowed to. And so yeah, no, that's you're absolutely right. Like I feel like I kind of take that a similar approach like for my like with my Instagram and just any social media. You know, it's like I want to be genuinely me because I want to be genuinely me because if I mess up on social media, like I want to be allowed to mess up in real life. But in the same token, like I want to be allowed to like flourish on social media and flourish like in real life.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to, first of all, it's like, it would be so exhausting to just be like, have a, you know, like have a whole separate life, like just online or whatever. But it's like, I just like, if I curse on social media, like it's because like, you know, like I curse in real life. Like that's just, and I'm not saying I'm the freaking like god of like genuine human. Like I'm like the, you know, whatever. I'm not at the top of the castle of like, I'm the most genuine human ever. But it's like don't hide unless you are doing like just some really bad things and like maybe like, you know, that's a whole different conversation. So,
but yeah. Are you in a relationship? I
am. Yeah. So, my girlfriend, her name is Madison. She's also an artist. She's a photographer. We've worked on film stuff together. She does so much. She's so talented. Like she inspires me like so much. We've been together for 4 years.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we have a dog together, 5-year-old shepherd retriever that we rescued last year. So yeah. Relationship. That's where I'm at. So,
yeah. I asked that in terms of not originally, but earlier you talked about your emotions.
Yeah.
Has that, being in a relationship for so long, helped you develop some more emotional agility, being able to say how you feel, and because you're not with someone else who cares about you and loves you, and you want to be able to express that to them? Yeah,
I would say yes and no. So before me and Madison got together, I was in another relationship that wasn't so good. Okay. And that one was also that was like a 3-year relationship or 4 years or something close to that. And so basically coming from that to then transitioning into like just being incredibly broken, like after that relationship, for many different reasons and from all kinds of different fronts, along with other like just life events that had happened, to then transitioning into a relationship that was like it even still is built on like unquestionable, undeniable, and like just undying love, like for the other person. I don't want to say it was hard, because it wasn't. Like, you know, like when you're broken, like if you're in a car accident and you go to the hospital, you expect them to like welcome you like with open arms, because like you're in a car accident, like you need the help. So it's like I kind of like, it was easy to fall into that, like to fall into that loving environment, because like that's what I needed, right? So but as far as like emotional agility, it's like, you know, I don't want to say it wasn't easy to navigate that, because like it was and it wasn't, right? Like it's, but that's my own struggle. Like that has nothing, that's no comment on like any, you know, misfirings of the relationship. Like that's like my own thing to deal with. But having that person to help me deal with that, like absolutely game changer. Like I don't know what, like where I would have ended up if I didn't, you know, find that person, and find that, like, honestly, just like pure safe space to like to feel and to love and to hurt and, you know, to whatever. Like, I don't know where I would have been if I didn't find that. And, you know, maybe I'll explore that in my art, but in my personal life, I don't really like to explore that. But, you know, it's, yeah, I think if the relationship is good, it's easy. Like being in a relationship is easy. And that's not to say it doesn't take work, right? Like it takes work, of course. Everything takes work. Life takes work. Mm-hmm. But like if the relationship is full of love and it's amazing and it's like it builds you up and it does all of those things that like we hear in movies of like finding the like loving relationship, like it's easy because that's like that's your environment that you're in. Like it's not supposed to tear you down. It's not supposed to hurt you. Like your relationship is not supposed to hurt you. And maybe some people disagree. Like I'm not like, I don't know. I'm open to hearing an argument that's not an argument, you know, a counterpoint to that. But yeah, I would say like it's supposed to be easy, you know? Cause like you want to come home after a hard day and you want to be able to like, just like, you know, dump at home, like to your spouse or to your, you know, your significant other. And you want to be able to be like rebuilt by them as well. Yeah. You know? But I know that also sometimes it can be dangerous to like give so much of yourself to another person. So then there's that whole thing. But I would say in my experience, my relationship is amazing. I love it. It's like, it's a huge part of my life. It's important to my every single day, you know? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I think where some people get confused with relationships is that they confuse like effort with hard or effort with easy, right?
Yeah.
A relationship, in a sense, can be easy if you're doing exactly what you're talking about. But regardless of that, it's still, just like you said, takes work and effort, and then that could mean it could be hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that because you love someone, you found someone you're compatible with, that you hold the same values, that you're striving to do the same things, they lift you up when you're down. All of that stuff is great, but it still takes a day-to-day commitment, which that in itself can be hard, right? So I think those two things are different, but also exactly in line with what you're trying to say. Yeah,
I mean, and kind of back to the point of like good people versus bad people, to quote a good filmmaker, but just like, you know, not the best person, Woody Allen, he said, you know, 90% of success is showing up. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's so applicable to like so many things. It's like even in a relationship, like if you just show up, like you're already on the right path.
Right.
Like if you just show up, you just got to show up emotionally, physically, everything. Like you have to show up.
Right. Yeah, I started jiu-jitsu in February.
Nice.
And that's like one of the most important things that the professor says. Like, just make it to the mat.
Yeah.
Get to the mat.
Yeah.
And once you're on the mat, you've already done all the hard work.
Yeah.
Right? Because now you're here, you're going to get going.
Yeah.
Now you see other people who are
what
inspiring you.
Right. If you're already there.
Exactly. You've already made it to the mat. Your gi is on.
Yeah.
And you made it here. You're going to see other people get after it. You're going to be inspired by other white belts, blue belts, purple belts, black belts, by the professor, what you're learning. There's a conducive environment. It's built on respect and competence and all of these things. And it's like, wow. So like, just get there. Yeah. Just show up and give the best you have on that day, which looks different every day, but it's still your best. And that's what's admirable and important.
Yeah, that's good. I love that. Yeah, I feel like even just as an artist, like you have to show up. Mm-hmm. Like how can you possibly think that any goal, not even just in art, not even as an artist or creator or anything, just like in life, like like how can you think that like your goals will be met by not showing up? Like that's insane.
Right.
That's insane. Like you're not gonna go anywhere. Like you're not gonna get anywhere. So
okay,
show up.
I have one more question before I specifically ask about what you do.
Okay.
And you mentioned consuming and viewing art.
Yeah.
What's the best thing that you've watched recently?
Oh man, on the way over here I was like thinking about that because like people always want to know.
Yeah, of course.
So, but it's like, it's so hard. I like that you said recently, because like that's a little easier.
Yeah, not ever. That's a very complicated question.
Yeah.
Maybe like last couple weeks.
Yeah, so I just binged seasons 1 and 2 of Euphoria.
Really, really good.
Incredible. Dude, that show's insane.
It's very, very intense, but very, very well made.
Yeah, it absolutely is intense. Not for definitely like if you're in a dark space, like mentally, like don't watch it.
Yeah, I can generally only watch one episode at a time because all of that stuff is very relatable to me and what I do. But it's well made, and the emotions they express, and just the ebbs and flows of being a person. It's like
yeah. So that's great. That's something I just watched. I've been on like a like a Clint Eastwood like Western kick. So I within the last few months, I've just been getting my fill of like Outlaw Josie Wales, The Unforgiven, High Plains Drifter, like all of those. Those are incredible. And then I've also like I watched recently Stalker by Tarkovsky, which is like a 80s like Soviet existential art film. That was incredible. The Seventh Seal by Ingmar Bergman. That one's kind of an obscure one as well. What else? Sopranos. I've been getting through Sopranos.
That's classic.
So yeah, I try, like, man, I have watched so many movies like in the last couple months, like I feel like I just consume so much stuff that like an average person would be like, what are you doing with your time? But it's like, it's so crazy. But so I'm sure there's some other things that'll come to mind later, but that's kind of what I've been.
Have you seen the show on HBO Max called Irma Vep?
No, that just came out, right?
Yeah.
And it's about making a movie, right?
You should watch it.
Yeah. No, I saw it the other day, yesterday, while I was, going to the next Sopranos episode. It looks amazing.
I think you would find it very interesting.
Great. I love it.
They film in France, so there's a lot of subtitles, but
that's fine.
But the main actress, I think she was in Tomb Raider.
Okay.
I want to say, but I like it.
Nice. Yeah. No, I'll check it out. I love recommendations, and a lot of people like give me crap. Like, I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Me neither.
So that's like on the list of like things to watch in the pipeline. But I'll definitely add Irma Vep to the list.
Do you consume things differently because of what you do?
Yeah, I think so. I always tell people, like, I can watch a movie. I could I could go to the theater and watch the same movie 3 times and watch it like 3 different ways. And so I feel like, I do watch movies differently than people because of what I do and what I want to do. But it's like, I have like an approach. So it's like, if I'm just watching it, like, I can watch it for sheer entertainment value, or I can just like deconstruct the shit out of it and watch it for for whatever, like the script. Like, if I want to analyze the script, or if I want to analyze something totally different. Like, I realize this probably sounds so pretentious to some people, like, but that's just how I like to consume movies. But I would say, generally speaking, just watching a movie is like it's like an emotional experience for me. Like I like people so I kind of like my first like favorite movies and still like a lot of my favorite movies are like horror movies. And so like a lot of my friends like they wanted to be like the macho, you know, like, oh, that movie didn't scare me. But it's like I want to be the guy that goes to the theater and sits through a horror movie and comes out and like, yeah, that was scary. Like
right.
that's what they intended. I want to make sure that I'm on the receiving end of what they intended, like for their art. And like I buy into it. Like how you said like Euphoria is you know, it's intense. It's really intense if you buy into it, you know? Like if you are there like with those characters and like going through those emotional experiences, like I totally buy into movies. Except for Marvel movies. I don't like Marvel movies.
No?
So no, not a Marvel fan. So I get a lot of like people think I'm a snob or whatever because I don't like Marvel movies, but
doesn't. I mean, we got a lot of Marvel stuff around here. My roommate's
no, it's totally cool. Like
my roommate's a huge Marvel guy.
Yeah, I think like what you like.
Sure, absolutely.
And so like whatever. Like I'm not judging you for liking those things, but just not my taste, you know.
Totally cool. So I know exactly what you mean when you talk about this because I was a professional wrestler for a long time. Yeah. I was a professional wrestling fan for longer, right?
Dude, you get it.
So when I was about 13, I fell in love with wrestling. Yeah. And then at about age 22, I became a professional wrestler. So 13 to 22, I watched it as a fan, obviously, totally immersed in the product. I was emotionally involved with every character. Like, I was up and down with it. Yeah. I loved it. And so I took that into how I watched movies because I was big into superheroes and theater and comics and athletics. So all of that made me want to be a wrestler. And so anytime I watch anything, that's kind of I buy in. So I can't watch horror movies because they like legit will keep me up at night for like long nights. And so I have to be very selective about what movies I watch.
Absolutely.
I'm like sort of getting into like these thriller and suspenses that have a lot of murder, but some like I can watch those now. I can't watch them at night, but I like them because they're really good. But I dive in. And so when I became an actual wrestler, I had to like consciously make the effort of how I was going to watch wrestling that night. Okay, there's a big pay-per-view on. I'm specifically watching it with my buddies as a fan. I'm getting into it. Let's go. Okay, it's a Tuesday night. I got a match this coming week. I'm going to watch some wrestling to study. Yeah. Like, okay, I can do this. This looks good. Oh, the way they put their match together was unique. I felt something here, so I'll watch it for studying. And then, you know, sometimes I'll just watch it at the gym while I'm doing cardio. Yeah. That's when I was in wrestling. So I know what you mean. Like, but for me, it was like a conscious decision to try and watch it in a certain way at that time, or else I'd be thinking about so many things at once and I wouldn't be able to like really find what I wanted. So when you talk about that, it's like, yeah, it totally makes sense.
It's like a team, like a football team, like studying tape. Like you could watch a football game and just watch it for the entertainment value. Right. Or you could watch it to like study like the formations and all that. Right. So
I do that with this podcast. I watch back every episode because I want to make sure that I'm coming across well. I'm sophisticated with my words. I'm giving my guests time to speak, and there's moments of pause where people can digest the information, right? Because I'm not an expert podcaster by any means. I've gotten better over 106. This is 107 episodes, right?
Dude, yeah. No, you're killing it.
So that's cool, though. That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
So now into you and what you do, right? So you're a filmmaker.
Yeah. So
based out of DFW.
Yeah, DFW. I was born and raised in Keller, Texas, so suburb of Fort Worth. And filmmaker. Also, my day job is in digital marketing. So still pretty involved with like. I do video production as a part of like my digital marketing job, but then I'm basically telling other people's stories to help them either grow their business or sell a product or whatever. I got started. I went to community college immediately after high school. I went to art school, like to do graphic design. The school I went to was a total scam. They took like a bunch of money.
Oh.
And I ended up getting kicked out. Not for like doing anything bad, but it was just like one thing after another, like a bunch of stuff just building on top of each other. Ended up getting kicked out. Still owe the money. Like I still, like my student loans are 90% from that art school.
Really?
And now they don't even exist anymore. Like their school is like shut down. So like I can say what it was. It was the Art Institute of Fort Worth. I went to the Art Institute of Fort Worth, and like it was a total scam.
Wow.
So
that sucks.
Yeah. So I graduated from high school a semester early. For no other reason but to just like get out. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, I had no plans of going to college. I just wanted to play in my band, and that was it. Like I just wanted to get out of high school. So like I was in a graphic design class in high school. We had somebody from the Art Institute come and be like, hey, look at how awesome this school is. And I went home that day and I told my parents, I was like, I want to go here. Like, and they were like, okay, that's cool. Like, we'll go, whatever. Did the whole tour, signed the papers, got locked into the scam. Mm-hmm. And so then after I got kicked out and that was like going downhill, I felt like I was like behind, like in life. Because I was like, I started out being ahead because I was going to college before people were even out of high school. Like I went to my prom, my high school prom during college. Like I was in college already.
Wow.
And I went to prom because prom was that semester that I had already graduated. So I had to do this whole like loophole. So it was like, I was like ahead, and I was so pumped. I was like, I'm going to like get a jump start. I already know kind of like what I want to do. Like I'm ahead of everybody. The whole comparison game is like, talk about a scam, dude. Mm. Like comparing yourself to other people. There's a quote like, comparison is the enemy of progress. And like that's totally true. But that's, I was 17. So I was like, everything was a game to me. Yeah. Like I was trying to compare myself to everybody. So got kicked out. I took like a couple just like really shitty jobs, like warehouse work and just like soul sucking jobs. And then decided just to go to community college. Didn't really have a plan still. Just wanted to go get my associates in whatever. It was cheap. And so I went to Tarrant County College. Mm-hmm. Got my associates, and that was like the greatest school experience I ever had. Like,
really?
Yeah, dude. It was, I don't know if it was just like, again, like I just bought into it, like I bought into the fact that like I was paying money to go to school. So I'm going to like make sure that I get the most out of it. Mm. And like, I'm a good student, like whatever. Grades were never an issue. Academics, just like, I don't know, it was fine. I wasn't a bad student or anything. So community college was amazing. I fell in love with philosophy, and I fell in love with just like writing. And I even almost ended up graduating from community college and going to like a 4-year university to get like a bachelor's in philosophy. But then I talked to a professor, and he was like, well, like you probably don't want to do that, because he's like, most people who major in philosophy either take one of two paths. One, they become a philosophy teacher, and they just teach philosophy. And two, they become a lawyer. Yeah. Like the LSAT is like massively like based in philosophy. And so I was like, I don't want to go to law school. Like that's like 8 years of school.
Right.
And so, and I already was kind of like, I don't really want to be in school, but whatever. And I didn't want to be a teacher. Like I never really kind of had aspirations of being a teacher. So I was just like, okay, like I'll just get my associates in general studies. So that's like literally what my degree is in. It's like an associates of arts in general studies, which is just like total bullshit. It just means like you took you took enough classes to get a piece of paper, but like you didn't really come out with anything. So I did that, and then I was like, I had a creative writing teacher. That just tells you like I didn't get my degree in anything because I took creative writing like on purpose. And she was like one of the most supportive people I have ever met, like from an academic standpoint.
Yeah.
Like she supported me personally. Just I don't know why. Like, I don't know if she liked my writing or if she just liked that I had the drive, but like, dude, her support was just insane. And so I really fell in love with writing, and I had, I already had this like piqued interest of movies. I just loved movies, And so I was like, well, like maybe, like film school's a thing. Like I was aware of film school. And so,
but it hadn't yet hit your consciousness that could be a job.
No, yeah, exactly. It was kind of like, I mean, I've always been like a super like just like a big thinker, and just like what is it called when like you just have like insanely big goals. I'm totally drawing a blank on the word I'm looking for, but like when I was in high school, I had super big plans and goals for my band that I wanted to hit, and so it's like, and I never had an issue with like like my parents were super supportive in whatever I wanted to do. So it like what was your question? You said film school. Oh, like to me, it wasn't an idea that it could be a job. So I just figured that's just how it happened, is like you just went to film school and then Hollywood called you. No, I'm still waiting for that call. No, I'm just kidding. But so I was like, I was at the end of my community college like journey, and I was like, I feel like because of my experience at community college, like I wanted to continue going to school because it was just so good. Like I just had a great time. And so I was like, yeah, I'll go to film school. And so my like dream school was UT in Austin. Never happened. Like I'm going to jump to that part of the story. Like I never went there. Because I looked at like the application process, and it said like write 2 essays, and like as a person who loves writing, if I don't like what I'm writing about, it's like full disconnect. Like I cannot muscle through that. Maybe now like I feel like I probably have discipline, I could probably do it, but at that time I was like 18 years old, 19 years old or whatever, and I was like, dude, these essays are like garbage. Like, what does this have to do with me getting into film school? And so I was like, okay, like I'm not going to go to UT. And so I just went to UNT, or like I applied to UNT. Their application was just like, do you want to go here? Check yes, and then you get in or whatever. And so I went to UNT for 2 semesters, in their film program, and quickly realized like I don't need to be here. So I dropped out. So I don't know if you knew that's where the story was going. I'm
here for the ride, baby.
Yeah, no, man, that's great. I'm a film school dropout. So I basically was like, I don't know. My experience is my experience. Some people have a great experience, and some people, again, will buy into it. But by that point, it was like I was like on the wavelength of like college is a scam, film school's a scam. And then I had a mentor who is in the industry locally and is like really connected and has been for 20 plus years. And he told me that this was like the deciding point of like, should I drop out or should I just like power through it? And because I only got my degree in general studies, my associate's degree, I had no prerequisites. So I pretty much started college over. I was like, after graduating community college, I should have been 2 years in.
Right.
But when I pretty much had to restart. Like I would have probably, I think I would have graduated last year if I kept going, because like I didn't have any prereqs. I needed like 4 years of this film program, like all this stuff. But he basically told me, like when you work in film, he told me two things that were like they helped me make my decision. He didn't say like, hey, just drop out, like don't worry about film school. He never told me that. It was my decision to make. But he said, like when you're working in film, whether it's like, you know, on a film or on a commercial set or whatever, nobody will ever ask you for your degree in film. Like they will never ask to see it. Like that's like not a thing. And then the second thing he said was like, whether you went to film school for 4 years or you never went to film school, after film school, if it's your first day on set, like you're literally starting at the same place as everybody else that's starting, film school or not. So like I took what he said and I basically was like, I need to work my ass off right now while I'm still in film school. And then two, like it just helped me make the decision of like, I don't need to go to film school and sit in a screenwriting class when I can pay, excuse me, I can pay for this book, you know, outside of school. I can pay for this course outside of school that somebody else is teaching that is in film right now, because chances are a massive percentage of those professors have probably never even been on a film set, or it's been many years.
Right.
So it was just like, that was my, like, I just needed the momentum. Like again, it was the whole thing. Like I wanted to be ahead, you know? And so I dropped out. And I only dropped out because I was like I was in like pre-production for my first short film, like on my own, outside of school. It was not a project for school. I wasn't even in production classes in film school yet. Yeah. And I was already like, you know, I raised money like on a GoFundMe or Indiegogo for my first short film. I was booking gigs with clients. Like I was like building, I was like, I was doing all of this outside of film school. And so I was like, I'm dropping out. Like I don't need this. And so, you know, one thing led to another and here I am. So that's my story. So
thinking about it right now in this moment, do you think you made the right decision?
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I never regret dropping out of film school. I never regret trying to go, you know? I think I made the right decision then to go, and I think I made the right decision to drop out. So yeah, I think I'm kind of, I don't know, is anybody ever really truly happy with where they are? You know, I don't know, but I feel like it's part of my journey, and I'm here to love the process.
There it is. Love the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you kind of decided that you wanted to just get in the trenches. Of filmmaking, rather than go through this kind of what people thought was the process you needed to go through. Instead, you're like, no, I can just get into it now myself, get some hands-on experience. Yeah. Do some self-teaching, get some courses in, and try to be hands-on more than just sitting and taking notes in a lecture. Dude,
yeah, absolutely. Like, nothing is going to help you more. And maybe this can be a general statement, but as far as like the film industry and just like video production, whatever, like nothing's going to help you more than like just growing your network, like building your list of people, not that you talk to one time, but that you can talk to on a continual basis. Mm-hmm. And then two, like just getting in, like putting in the reps, you know, like if you don't know how to shoot something, like the only way to be able to work your way to where it's like you get the call to work on a film, like of any capacity, like you have to shoot something. You have to know how to shoot something. Mm-hmm. But if you're here and you don't know how to shoot something, just go shoot stuff. Shoot everything. Dude, it was like when I first started, I would since my girlfriend was a photographer, I kind of had the luxury of like I helped her out on her photo shoots, but it was like I could shoot video of those photo shoots. Mm-hmm. Not just like behind the scenes video, but I could shoot the models and I could shoot them like they were a music video or like it was like a showcase of something, like whatever, like you have to make your own opportunity. Yeah. Like when you're first starting out, it's a wasteland. Like an absolute wasteland. Like you're going to look out and it's just going to be cactuses or I guess cacti is plural, cacti and tumbleweeds. Like it's going to feel daunting, but you have to make your own opportunity. And so that's what I was doing. That's what I did. That's what I still do. You know, it's like never stop the hustle and the grind of like making your own opportunities. Like I had friends that they produced music and they made music. So, you know, I didn't really ask them. I told them like, hey, come over. We're going to shoot a music video. Mm-hmm. Like you have this song. I like this song. I want to shoot a video. And it was just like, there was no transaction, you know, there was no like, okay, I'll give you this much money in return for this. Like, man, I feel like I'm going on so many different points. I'm on fire right now. Yeah. But like being relational, you have to be relational. It's all about relationships. Right. 100% about relationships, because when you build those relationships and you operate from a relational level, the transactions will come. Like that's how you have to think of it in terms of like relationships versus like relational versus transactional. Yeah. And so it's like the money will come. Like don't do anything for the money. Never do anything for the money, I would say. Like that's probably really bold to say. But like if money is the motivation, like that's like you're probably gonna hate it. Mm-hmm. You know, like do it for the relationship. Do it for the just do it for the love of it. You know, of the love of the craft, love of the person. Yeah, man. I don't know what I just said, but
that end part, right, sums up what loving the process is, right?
Yeah.
Because if you haven't found something that you love it even when it's not going well, then you haven't really found something that you love, right? It speaks all the way back to a relationship. Yeah. Right? If you don't love something to its fullest, even when it's not going at its best, then you don't really love something. And that's the same way that you love the process, right? Yeah. I coach baseball. And baseball is a very hard sport, just like anything else is very hard. Yeah. You fail 3 out of 10 times. So if you still don't love baseball, the 7 times that you get out, you don't really love baseball. Yeah. Because you're not enjoying just being there and honing your craft and getting better and constantly trying to see what the edge of your capacity is. Yeah. Right? And that's exactly what you're saying, right? So you want to build these relationships, and then once these relationships are built, then you're kind of capitalizing on that via your talent. Yeah. And how good you are at what you do.
Dude, Gary Vee says, fall in love with losing so much that you absolutely cannot wait to lose. Mm-hmm. Like you just have to love losing. Yeah. And that makes winning feel better. Right. that just but it's just a reality. Mm-hmm. Like you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Even people that win the lottery lose. They lose before they win. Yeah. You know?
I recently read this book by this guy who wrote comic strips for a really long time, and its title is How to Fail at Everything and Still Win Big.
Dude, love it.
And I mean that's the culmination of everything, right? Yeah. You're constantly I don't really like the word failing. To use a film reference. Yeah. Right? It's just a mistake. just a mistake. And if you're obviously going to learn a ton from those mistakes or mistakes, right? And then you just go back and you keep showing up and you keep showing up and 100%. You keep showing up, right? The failure to me is when you just decide that you have an unwillingness to move forward. Yeah. Right? That's a failure. It's unwillingness to move forward.
You only fail when you quit.
Right. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes you have to know when to grit it out and when to quit, right? Sometimes those decisions are really hard. Yeah. You made a couple of those in your life with dropping out of school, right?
100%.
Sometimes you grit it out. Sometimes you got to quit. But that is not really a failure. That's a decision ultimately that's going to be best for you in the long run.
Yeah.
But all of that stuff is quite cool.
Yeah. It's all like... It's all part of one thing. Like it all comes. It's like spokes on a wheel. Like we use that kind of comparison when we're talking about like digital marketing a lot. Like in the agency I work with, we talk about like spokes on a wheel. In that sense, it's like everything that you do, all is like your digital marketing. So it's like your email marketing, your advertising, your videos, your everything. So it's like. In this sense, it's like your ability to show up. Like that's one thing. That's one spoke. Mm-hmm. And then it's like your ability to make the decision to, either to pivot in whatever direction. Like that's another spoke. Like it all comes together to like it. I think another thing is like even if you do all of that, you still might not win. Mm-hmm. And like you have to come to terms with that. Yeah. You have to come to terms with that. Like I've made short films that I have like completely loved. Like so much emotional attachment. But like it didn't go anywhere. Like one of the short films I made, like I submitted it to so many film festivals and I was like, you have the delusions of grandeur. It's like, man, I'm such an artist. Like people are going to love this. But then it's like, no, actually nobody loves this. Nobody even understands what you made. But like you have to, like that's part of the process. Like
you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, you have to put yourself out there. And like sometimes even when you do everything that is probably right, sometimes it still doesn't work. Like it's just...
Excuse me. That's part of it.
Part of it.
Absolutely. So what's happening now in your life? So we heard kind of the backstory. What are you creating now? What's on the horizon?
Man, so I released. I didn't really. It was like the most like nonchalant project. I released it probably a year ago. Mm-hmm. And it was really cool. I did it. I got it screened at like an actual movie theater, which was like a first experience for me.
That's really cool.
That was amazing. But then after that project, I kind of I shot two other projects that I only like worked like camera department on those projects. One of them is out. One of them should be out pretty soon. There were some like hiccups in the editing, like a bunch of stuff that I had like nothing to do with. I worked on it and now it's like out of my hands. One of them was called The Defender. That's out. You can see that. It's got some like really sensitive stuff in it. Mm-hmm. So I would say like watch with caution. But I shot that, and then those two projects were very like heavy, mm-hmm. and like they were not only like heavy in terms of like the emotional, like just living through the experience of those stories. They were heavy, but also just like in terms of like production, like the other one that's not out yet. Dude, those were like two of the hardest days of my life, like shooting that film. But so after all that to say, I took a break after those two. And so my most recent project of my own that I like wrote and directed and, did everything I could on, that one I released last year, but, I am in, pre-production for another short film I feel like I haven't hit the level where like I'm ready to do like a feature film. Like I love shorts. I love short storytelling. I don't like reading that much. Like all of my books that I consume are audio because like I just don't like reading that much. So I feel like that's kind of like I want to make shorts because like I like that span of storytelling. So I have a short that I'm in pre-production. So everything it's all. I don't have anything definitive.
Sure.
That I'm doing now, but yeah. I mean, I'm fluid. I'm flexible. So I'm here for whatever the universe is gonna bring me.
Right. What's the hardest part about being a creator?
Oh man, the hardest? There's a lot of hards. The hardest part about being a creator, I'm just gonna spout off a couple that come to mind. Knowing when to let go, especially like if you're in a collaborative sort of art form where like you have to rely on other people to like make something happen. Like there's just times you have to let go of certain responsibilities or whatever. And so if you're really close to your art, like letting go can be hard of any, at any caliber. And then, I don't know, I feel like everybody says like you have to have thick skin to be an artist, but I don't really know if that's true. I feel like you can still be an artist and still cry every time you face rejection. I don't think anybody truly develops the thick skin that they tell people to have, when creating. So I think the hardest part is just like learning your own path with rejection. Like you have to have your own relationship with rejection. It's just like grieving a loss. Like nobody can tell you how to grieve.
Right.
Nobody can really tell you how to handle your rejection. And if you're not used to it, it can be really hard to like navigate that. It's hard to be inspired 24/7, so I think the hardest part about being a creator is knowing how and when to capture and capitalize on your inspiration. I think that ultimately, of everything I just said, like that is the hardest part about being a creator, because like when you're in that like writer's block or just like uninspired mode, like it is, not only is it really hard to get out of, it's really like debilitating, like because you identify as an artist,
right?
And when you're an artist that doesn't create, are you an artist? I don't know. So it's like you have to like just dealing with that. I think it is just like that whole package of inspiration to like conception to creation. So
how important is the things that you experience in your life, past, present, and potentially future, influence what you want to create or what you feel like you can or should potentially create? I don't love that word should, but I'll use it here for now.
I think it 10 out of 10 times it impacts what I create. And I, like sometimes it goes back to imposter syndrome. It's like, am I really the person to tell this story? Or am I really like, was my experience enough to where other people will enjoy hearing my story or whatever story it is? But I would say like, yeah, absolutely. Everything I like, just my life experience. And like you said, whether it be past, present, or future, and I would even say imagined or like fantasized, both in a good and bad way, fully 100% without a doubt influence everything everything that I do. So, yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. I have a couple more questions for you.
Let's go. Let's do it.
But one, I want to kind of make an announcement on this podcast.
Yeah.
Since I just did meet you before we went on, and then I asked you to film the You Are Loved event.
Oh, okay.
Which
yes.
I haven't announced publicly yet.
Okay. So let's do it. Dude, I'm so honored to be here for this.
September 29th, 2022, we are having the second You Are Loved event. It'll be titled An Evening of Love with Friends, and it'll be kind of like a community engagement event. I'll share the story of why we started You Are Loved. There'll be some poetry, some live music, some conversations, some other stories, and there'll be basically a station at the venue that we're having it at, where you'll be able to write a letter to yourself, and you'll put it in an envelope, and I will then mail it to you once the event is over, and you'll get that letter how you felt after the event, during the event, hearing these kinds of stories. And so that's kind of what's going to happen. That's my general outline of the event. And Logan here, hopefully he wants to come and document and film that event for us.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely be there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Amazing.
And, I think a mutual friend of ours, I saw that you did some work for her, Erin.
Yes.
She performed beautifully and magically at our first event. And I haven't asked her yet, but
maybe she'll watch this and know that this is your form of asking her.
Yeah, I talked to her right before you came over, because I'm gonna have her come over and do the pod.
Oh, dude.
I haven't really had a chance also to sit down and speak with her.
Man.
Because when I asked her to do the event in March, I didn't really know her. I just saw some of her music. She got recommended, and she was, I have to use the F word here, fucking brilliant.
Yes.
And then I just kind of want to get to know her a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I also want to ask her on the pod to do the next event.
Dude, Yeah, I just to stay on Erin for a minute. She is incredible. Mm-hmm. Just an incredible musician, incredible storyteller. Again, just really captures emotion
mm-hmm.
in her music and in the way she performs, and just insanely kind person.
Oh.
Dude, one of the just nicest, kindest people I have ever met.
So nice.
Lovely. Yeah. So I would, anything that Erin is at and you ask me to be at, I will be there. So,
sweet.
Yes.
Pumped. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. You heard it here first. I don't know where else you would hear it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's my podcast and my company, but that's all right.
My Instagram story maybe, later.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so I told you I was going to ask you about this later on.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned 75 Hard.
Yes.
Physical fitness, health, wellness, all that stuff is very important to me, because it's completely intertwined and interconnected with our mental health.
Yeah.
And I've been working out for the longest time, and it's greatly affected my entire life in the most positive way possible.
Yeah.
And so I'll ask you, why did you do 75 Hard? Why did you choose that? How'd it go? All of those questions.
Yeah. So why did I choose it? I didn't really choose it. It was kind of chosen for me. So I my boss, I'll give him a plug. His name is Brad Parnell. He's the one that owns the agency I work for. Just an incredible motivator. Just mindset coach. I fully consider him a mentor. But he introduced me to doing the challenge. He basically was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it with me?"
Right.
But then the "do you want to do it with me" was kind of I felt like I shouldn't say no, you know? So I essentially went from not working out, not remotely concerned about physical fitness or getting in shape, I guess, which sounds so terrible. Because I basically went from delivering pizzas, that's a whole other part of my story, is I was a pizza delivery driver, and then I transitioned into this amazing opportunity to work with Brad, And just that alone, like, transformed my life, like, exponentially. So I did 75 hard because he was like, he introduced it to me, and I was like, you know, like, I was like overweight. I was 235, like, not a healthy 235. And like, I'm definitely not body shaming or anything. Like, your journey is your journey.
Yes.
So, but I was just like unhealthy, and high blood pressure, all that stuff. And like, I'm 25, like, I should not have high blood pressure, right? So, I was like, yeah, like, I'll go for it. So literally, like, the day that I still, I don't know, like, do you think people know what 75 hard is?
Yeah.
Like, should I explain it? Or?
You can explain it if you want, but yeah, I think people know, but you can explain it for sure.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, look it up if you don't know.
Yeah.
Like just look it up, because there's a lot.
It's a pretty well-known
involved.
challenge. Yeah.
But
It's very extensive.
Yeah, it is. And so I still haven't had a drink of alcohol since I started 75 hard, which is like 150 days.
Beautiful.
Like, sober. So, yeah, I did that. As far as like results, I would say do 75 hard because you want to, and like the weight loss, like, you probably will lose weight, but I think it's more tailored for like a mental fitness and like a mental discipline more than it is like a physical fitness. But you're doing 2 workouts a day,
right.
Like, you're gonna lose weight, like, and you have to stick to a diet, like. So if you clean up your diet, whatever. So I did that. It totally changed my life. I've always been like super into like the mindset coaching, and like I just like, I know I understand the importance of mindset. And so that really wasn't an issue for me. But like the physical aspect of it was like new to me and transformative. Because I did lose weight, and like you said, physical fitness just like help, like mental health, like the mental health aspect of physical fitness is like, it's hard to say how good it is until you like can feel it, because like it does change like just your perspective. Like, you learn the importance of like setting goals, and not only the importance of setting goals, but how it feels to actually reach those goals. And so all of that, kind of comes together to, for me to say that, like, yeah, I did 75 hard. It was awesome. Changed my life. And I literally went from 0. Like, I started from 0. I didn't work out at all before 75 hard. So. And
now, what's your workout schedule look like?
It's not heavy. It's not like I don't have a schedule. It's just I incorporate it when I feel like it, and when I want, when I can. But I would say like the biggest transformation for me has been like the relationship with food, and just changing the way that I see and appreciate food. So I definitely, I have felt the effects of like just cleaning up my diet.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, thank you.
That's amazing. That's taking care of yourself,
yeah,
right?
Dude, it definitely is.
Yeah, people talk a lot about self-care, right, or self-love, and I define that as a commitment to your future self.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to do things in the moment that potentially you don't want to do because you're feeling a certain way. Things are happening. Your emotions are heavy. You're dealing with certain stuff, right?
Dude, I love that.
If you can get yourself to do one thing in the moment that you don't want to do, but you know will eventually make you feel better.
Yeah.
You're committing to your future self, and you're giving yourself hope, and you're giving yourself agency over your life. And those little tiny steps that you can manage to make every day is just committing more and more. And then you're earning trust in yourself, right? Trust is earned, especially with yourself, by committing to the things that you say you're going to do. And then you positively reinforce yourself by saying, that's like me. That's like me to get this done. That's like me to drink this glass of water. That's like me to brush my teeth. That's like me to make my bed. That's like me to work out for 5 minutes, right? And then slowly you're just earning trust in yourself, and you've deeply committed to who you want to become and who you know you can become. And then you start to become that person, and then it's like a fucking domino effect. You're just taking over the fucking world.
That is amazing. I love that. That's like me. Mm-hmm. I'm taking that.
Please do.
I'm taking that, dude. That is so good.
My clients seem to really like it.
Yeah.
So.
They
I love it. I mean, because
that's freaking gold.
Because you want to celebrate yourself, right? People say that all the time, like celebrate the little wins. Well, how do I do that, right? How do I celebrate the little wins, right? Sometimes for me, it's like a fist bump. Like, fuck yeah, I did that shit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's not a big celebration, but you're telling yourself that you recognize yourself for doing that, for doing that hard thing. And if that's like me works, it works for me because I'm reinforcing that behavior in myself. Okay, yeah, sweet, I did that. And then it's the same in the opposite side, right? If you do something that you didn't really want to do, you're like, that's not me. It needs a little work. No shame.
That's not me. Yeah.
No shame. No. You're not belittling yourself. You're not crushing yourself. You're just, that's not like me. That's not me. It needs a little work, so I'll get back to work, right? Because we're all gonna do things that we shouldn't have done or we could have done better. Like, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Right, but you're gonna tell yourself, okay, that's fine. That was not my best self, but I'll put a little work in. I'll show up the next day.
Amazing.
Let's get after it.
Dude, that's so good.
Yeah,
so good.
It's good stuff. But the way you talk and the way you live your life, you kind of have a pretty good understanding of all this stuff, right? And the way you show up, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks.
Just have a natural understanding of that.
Yeah,
that's kind of probably why you liked philosophy in college.
Yeah. And the thing with philosophy is like, with a bad teacher can kill philosophy.
Oh, for sure.
For you. And like that's what happened to me. When I was going to film school, I was a minor in philosophy, and
so you did actually stick with that.
Yeah, that's cool. I did. Because I don't know if I had to minor in something, but I chose to because I loved it so much. But I had a terrible teacher, and so it just like made dropping out easier, honestly. But definitely. I don't know, philosophy. I love philosophy because like it's not definitive, you know. Like there's no definitive. It's all just like talking points and just ideas, and you can create your own beliefs out of those ideas. Mm-hmm. So
it's the most ancient wisdom. Yeah. And it still applies. Yeah. Today.
Dude, 100%.
Full force. Like 100% it applies today. Yeah. Especially with like how rapidly things are changing in our lives with technology, which is amazing. Yeah. But it's growing so fast that we can't keep up with it. Like I don't know what's new invention is gonna happen tomorrow that I have to adapt into my life. It's like I'm just trying to figure out social media and podcasting and what's next, right? And so we just like all that stuff is. I mean, they didn't have a grasp of that because it wasn't around then. But applying that ancient wisdom into modern times and then using kind of some like science-backed tools, right? Can help you manage the best you can. At least in my experience. Totally. I think it's true. But
absolutely.
I have one final question for you.
Let's do it.
I don't know if you know who Tim Ferriss is.
Yeah.
But
4-Hour Workweek.
Yeah, he's an amazing podcaster. The original podcaster, I think.
You think so?
I think so. I think he kind of got the trend going.
Interesting. Okay. I think Mark Maron was pretty early.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously Joe Rogan kind of took over the game. Yeah. But he's been at it for 11 years, right? So it's not like it wasn't just a...
He was a pioneer for sure.
But I liked him. I think he does a really good job. But
he's amazing. His YouTube channel is great.
It's fantastic. Yeah. He has clips and short videos, and his newsletter is really good. His books are good. His questions he asks, like he takes... I don't know. It's just like... Yeah. He really takes care of it. It was his full-time job, obviously, so he takes pride in his work. But
yeah, definitely.
Anyways, he asked this really beautiful question at the end of his podcasts, and I took it from him. Okay. So I like to give him credit every time, in case he ever watches an episode.
Good man.
But he asks, if you were to create a billboard, and millions of people would see it every day,
yes,
what would you put on that billboard?
Love first, unconditionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely.
That came to you pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the theme of your show.
Yeah.
And it's the theme of like what you do. But I mean, man, like, I don't know, man. There's so much just like in the world that's just like not love. And it's like we're surrounded so much. And like, it's like whether it's like political bullshit here, like, you know, whatever, like this person did this, all that, like, just love people first, unconditionally first. Like, if you want to stick to like innocent until proven guilty, like love people unconditionally first, and then if they like figure out bad shit later, you know, lead with love.
Lead with love.
Yeah.
Love first.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I wish we had those billboards up.
Yeah. Make it a shirt.
We can.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We can make it a shirt, and we can sell it at the event.
Let's do it.
Sweet. That's probably going to be the title of this episode when I put it on YouTube.
Okay. I love it.
Love first, unconditionally.
Love first, unconditionally.
Beautiful.
Right on.
Thank you, man.
Dude, thanks for having me. This was a blast. This was so good.
Thank you. This is a beautiful episode.
I'm happy. I hope after this, I can call you a friend. I'm sure.
Yes.
You know. Yes. So thank you for reaching out. Thanks to Instagram for existing and letting us just create.
Yeah.
This.
Now we're friends, partners in another event coming up.
Yeah, friends, dude. We'll be friends forever. I feel.
I hope so.
So yeah.
Yeah, man.
Awesome,
this is great.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching or listening. Share this with a friend. Please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us and give us a review on Spotify and Apple. But most importantly, take care of yourselves and others. And I'll see you next time. Lots of love.